Hi, this movement sequence is shot as a follow along. So I'm going to go through each one of the movements. I'm going to be talking you through it. I'm going to do the same number of reps. All you need to do is listen, watch, and go through it with me. And it's more dynamic mobility. So we're going to be in motion. We're going to be going through touching our toes and reaching back and reaching sideways. So there are a lot of benefits behind this. And one of the big ones that a lot of people don't think about is the fascial system. And I'm not talking about the stuff that covers the muscles there, the myofascia. Talking about this matrix that basically everything is wound in, suspended in throughout our bodies. So that fascial system is constantly remodeling. And it's going to remodel according to the stress and postures and positions that we use on a regular basis. So if we find ourselves sitting all the time, our fascia is going to remodel according to this. And then that can lead to some issues down the road. So a few times a week, going through a variety of movement patterns dynamically, we're now sending messages to that fascia to remodel according to the way the body's supposed to be, instead of remodeling to some of those poor habitual postures that we go through. All right, we are going to start with a toe touch and a reach back. So we're going to go feet together. Arms are going to be overhead. And you want to drive a lot of movement through your hips, so get those hips way back behind you. Once you get stuck with your hamstrings, then you can fold over to go down to a toe touch. Then we're going to come up, tighten your glutes, so clench your rear end, then shift your hips forward, and then try to reach back a little bit. Back to our toe touch. Drive the hips back, don't round your spine until you have to. Then you can fold over. Come back to a nice flat back, drive your hips forward, really clench those glutes, shift your hips forward and reach back, and we're going to go one more time. So the reason we clench your glutes when you reach back, it's going to provide some safety for your low back. Make sure you move through your hips and don't just dump it all through the spine. All right, the next one is going to be a side reach. And what we're going to do is take just a small step. So my right foot, just a small step. What I want is my right hip getting outside of my right ankle. So small step, hip outside of ankle, and then I'm going to take my right hand and I am reaching up, 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 and then over. So what I commonly see with this is just dumping through the spine. So step, shift your hips, now reach up and over. You should have a sensation that goes all the way down the side of your body. And then we're going to go the other way. So left foot, a little step, shift the hip out, come up and over. Make sure the up is there. Right foot step, hip shifts out, up and over, reach high, reach high, reach high. All right, back to the left side, shift your hips out, up and over, and then we're going to do one more each side. All right, for this next one, a lot of people have ankle restrictions. They don't move through their ankles very well, and you're going to need to build up some kind of a heel lift. So that could be taking something like a mat and rolling it a couple of times, standing on it so that your heels are elevated. Doesn't matter what you do. It could be a couple of washcloths. Does not matter. All we want to do is, if we go through it with your feet on the floor and you're not able to do what I'm doing, then we need to give you some assistance with the heel lift to accommodate the tighter ankles. So we're going to go back to a toe touch, but with our feet out at hip width, and then we're going to lower into a deep squat position. So if need be, your heels are elevated on something. Same hip hinge, but then we're going to lower the hips down into a deep squat. So from a forward view, we want to make sure your knees are outside of your elbows. We don't want your knees inside of your elbows. And then from here, we're going to slowly try to straighten your knees and then back down into that deep squat. Again, give yourself as much heel lift as you need to be able to complete these. And then one more, there's our third one. And then back down. From here, just shift forward, put the weight on your hands, and then you can unload your legs. Next, we're going to go into a push-up position and then go through an alternating lunge. So in a push-up position, I'm bringing my right foot forward, holding for a brief moment, and then back. Now the left foot forward. Make sure the back knee remains straight. Now, your foot may only come this far. That's completely fine. Wherever your range is where it is. So just work within your body. Don't try to force anything. So right foot forward, right foot back, left foot forward, left foot back, and we're going to go one more each. Right foot forward, left knee straight, And then left foot forward, right knee straight. And back. All right, now back onto our feet. We're gonna find some width between our feet. And we're gonna do what's called a triangle. So we're basically going to side lunge, then drag across the bottom of the triangle, and then come back up. So we can see up my legs, and then across the floor, that forms my triangle. So side lunge, drag the bottom, come back up the top. Now remember, with your side lunging motion, we need to make sure we have a hip hinge. So you can keep your toes pulled up. Side lunge, your hips need to be behind your knee, behind your foot. What we don't want is this. So side lunge, drag the bottom, and then come back up. So we're gonna do 3 each direction. So going to my right first, side lunge to the right, drag across the bottom, come back up the left side. Side lunge to the right, drag across the bottom, back up, and one more time, side lunge to the right, drag across the bottom, and come back up. All right, now going to the left. Side lunge to the left, drag the bottom, come back up, side lunge to the left, drag the bottom, come back up, and one more time, side lunge, drag the bottom, and come back up. Excellent, bring the legs in. Last one's probably gonna be the hardest one for everybody. If you are using a heel lift to go down into that deep squat position, you're going to need the same heel lift for this. So what we're gonna do is go down into that deep squat, but then bring ourselves back up as a squat motion. So I'll give you a side view and then a forward view. So arms overhead, drive the hips back, fold over, descend into your squat, knees wider than elbows, then bring your arms overhead and then come up. One more time from the side view. Drive your hips back, fold over, lower your hips, knees wider than elbows, arms up, and then come up. So from the front, big hinge, fold, descend into the squat, both arms up, come up. One more time. Drive the hips back, forward fold, descend into the squat, knees wider than elbows, arms up, and then come up. So that gives you a full array of movement patterns, gets that fascial system moving around, gets you feeling a little bit better. You can do this in the morning, afternoon, really doesn't matter. If you do it first thing in the morning, just get into everything a little bit slower.